Hello. Alright, so I'm kind of in a weird place. I'm currently working on a Tyler the Creator video about love and hopeless romanticism, but my most recent video is about scary music that is dark and disturbing. So I needed to put a bit of an interlude in between that is a little bit dark and sad, but also has those high points. And there's been something on my mind for a while now that is becoming noticed by more and more people. The fall off of certain artists. When I first started getting into music heavy and listening to albums, one question kept coming up to me. Why do artists fall off? I mean, I've been a big fan of sports my entire life. I've seen some of my favorite athletes lose their physical ability the more they age. But that makes sense. It makes sense for the older an athlete gets, the harder it is for them to keep up with younger athletes. Unless your name is LeBron James, physically falling off is what happens to everyone. But creatively falling off with age? That doesn't make much sense. I didn't understand why it is just as, if not more common for artists to slowly fall off as it is for athletes to fall off. But honestly, I understand it now. Seeing so many artists come and go throughout the years has made me come to so many conclusions. I see a lot of patterns in these fall-offs. I see why a lot of these artists fall off immediately, and why some of these artists have a slow fall-off. And most importantly, there's a clear as day pattern that all the artists who don't fall off follow. But we'll get into that a little later. For now, let's talk about the 3 levels of the artistic fall off. Level 1, failing to move ahead after the initial splash of attention. This is the quickest of the fall offs. You had your 15 minutes of fame and then you just fell the hell off. This can happen in so many ways. This can be the very common one-hit wonder situation. You make a hit and then you get complacent and have no buzz around your name again. Alright, pizza my boy, go yay. Other times you blow up and people just straight up don't like you. This happens a lot with female rappers, and yeah, we know why. So like Ice Spice or Sexy Red would fit into this category. For one reason or another, people don't like Ice Spice and Sexy Red, and they're not really talented enough to keep their career alive past the hate. Then there's the artists who have pretty huge moments that wasn't just a single song. Maybe like an album that we can look back on as an actual memorable moment in time. I wouldn't go as far as to say classics, but there are definitely other people who would. Like 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying, or Katy Perry's Teenage Dream. Roddy Ricch honestly had himself a really nice moment at the end of 2019 with The Box, and the album itself was pretty solid too. But all 3 of these artists have taken a nosedive in quality after this. Getting past all the new eyes on you is a lot. And yes, these artists did fail at it, but like I said, this is only level 1. Some artists actually do get past this, and although they might not be as great as they were when they first stepped into the spotlight, they continue to have quality music. Until they don't. Until they are faced with harder obstacles. Level 2. Trying to recreate the past. This is when you have that awesome first moment, you slowly get a little worse, but you're not quite bad yet. You're just good enough to pass the quality test, but you're not good enough to not hear the "we want the old version of you back" comments. Yes, this is a little Uzi diss. His past few albums to me have felt like the exact same thing as his old stuff, with a little sprinkle of Cardi cloning and anime? I see this with so many artists, especially older ones. The thing that sucks about it is that the fans incentivize it. There's nothing stronger than that nostalgic feeling for people. Those fans just don't realize that getting something new and being challenged is always better. I'd rather have to let an album from one of my favorite artists grow on me than like it on first listen because my ears are used to it. A lot of people have been pointing out how bad trap music has been this year, and I hear a lot of them saying it's because people are tired of non-lyrical rappers, but I don't think it's because of the lack of lyricism. I think it's because these artists are recreating old eras. The same damn album with the same damn government mandated features. Even Cardi's album, which I enjoyed, just sounds like a compilation of songs that didn't make Whole Lotta Red, Die Lit, and self-titled. Honestly, level 2 is a lot more rare of a fall-off point than level 1 and 3. If you don't fall off like the artists in level 1 did, then it's not that common to see artists recreating old eras. Well, at least not as common as the level 3 fall-off, which is The most sad, and the one that separates the great artists that we will talk about forever from the ones that become washed. Level 3. Solidifying yourself as a celebrity. If you somehow have more than 15 minutes in the spotlight and people aren't begging you to go make the art you used to make, then you are probably a well-known celebrity at that point. And being a celebrity comes with a lot. You see opinions about you every day on social media, opinions not only that fuck with you because a lot of them are very personal, but also fuck with your creative process. You're thinking about what that one dude said in the comments while you're in the studio creating. Then there's money and the greed that comes with fame. There is no bigger rivalry to creativity than money. Then there's weird, creepy fan behavior whenever you go outside. Becoming a celebrity is a mental illness speedrun at its worst, and at its best is just the recipe for mid-music. Like, look at Drake and Taylor Swift. Drake has old interviews talking about wanting to make timeless music, and now he just makes albums that sound like the exact opposite of timeless. His albums are full of songs that sound like they are trying to make a quick TikTok hit that we'll forget about in 2 weeks. He features a bunch of level 1 fall-off ass artists, gets them at their biggest moments so they can be on his albums. He now chases the trend and then he dips. Taylor Swift is definitely less egregious with her discography, but equally boring. They're both doing the same thing, just dropping music because you gotta have that new album out like people were telling Lauryn Hill. But none of your best work comes from that. And I'm sure there's someone saying, there are big artists that are celebrities that never fall off. And honestly, I 50% agree with you. When I say celebrity, I mean actively putting themselves out there and bathing in their fame. I put that Lauryn Hill clip in here, not only because I love what she said, but also because that spirit she had of not wanting to be in the public eye 24/7 is something I see in all the great mainstream artists with longevity. Obviously, her discography is as small as one can be, so she's not the best example, but at the very least, she kept her integrity. Like, look at Tom York. The millisecond he got famous after OK Computer, he hated it. He wanted to get away from all that attention, and that's why we don't know much about Tom York. He doesn't want to be a celebrity. The only thing I know about Tom York after OK Computer is that he had a pretty damn amazing discography, and he's still making great music to this day with The Smile. I mean, Clips this year are like the best examples. Malice was just gone for like over a decade because he hated celebrity lifestyle. Then he comes back and has probably had a better year than any rapper in 2025. Let me remind you real quick. Malice is 53 and Tom York is 57. Falling off creatively isn't because you're getting older, it's because the more time you have in the spotlight, the more the magic that is behind what makes great art gets polluted. That's why we don't see as much underground artists become washed. They don't have as much outside factors hampering their creative process as someone like, I don't know, Ed Sheeran does. Think of every great mainstream artist currently. I'd bet they are either very private and we don't see them much, or that they are very vocal about how much they hate celebrity culture. Which is why, if you ask me, I'd say an athlete falling off takes more time than the average big artist to fall off. On paper it seems crazy, but I think it makes complete sense. I think the artistic fall off is the hardest fall off to avoid. Alright y'all, so one quick announcement before we head out. I want you guys to be a part of an upcoming video I'm making. I started a Patreon, it's only $2 a month. That's literally only like 50 cents a week. I would never tax y'all like that. But yeah, I dropped the Google Forms on the Patreon and I'll be reacting to every single hot take in there and saying your name in the video. Also doing a Spotify Wrapped reaction whenever those come out. So yeah, the Patreon's actually peak. Join you guys, you won't regret it. And I'll see you guys in the next videos. Bye.
At the time I'm recording this, my Patreon has 2 people. Dave Iverson, I love you Dave Iverson. Mwah. And Stephen Ellington 23. So I love you too, Stephen Ellington 23. Mwah. If you want to get a kiss, join.